Internet and YouTube. My name is Christina. Nice to meet you. Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Now, since we are complete strangers, I figured my first ever video would be 20 things about me, so at least you know what you're getting into. So just a heads up, not everything on this list is interesting, if anything, so bear with me. Alright, thing number one, I am a morning person. My idea of sleeping in is 8 or 9 o'clock. I can't go past that, which kind of works because I really like my morning routine. I like getting up and doing all that fun stuff. It's just me. In relation with thing number one, thing number two is I don't really need sleep. It's just a really crappy superpower that helps absolutely no one on this planet. On the subject of crappy superpowers that help nobody, I don't get cold. It's in the same way that everybody will go to the beach and it'll get really hot, but even if you do get hot, you like the feeling. I'm like that with cold. I would much prefer to do that for a while than go to the beach where it's sandy and it's hot and... So, summer's not my friend. Let's just agree on that. I'm not a summer person. Not even a little. I am easily influenced by movies and music from the night before. For example, if I watch Pirates of the Caribbean one night, I'm going to be wearing really dark, like, smoky eyes and try and look like a pirate the next day. I don't know, the image is just sort of in my head, so I've decided I need to look like that for the next day. I will pick up other people's habits. I didn't realize I did this until my best friend pointed it out. I realize it's kind of annoying, but it's really not something I can help. I do that with a lot of people, so if I spend time around you, I'll probably start picking up your habits. Think of it as imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I love spicy food. Hot food. The kind of food that when you put it on your tongue, you're in pain and your eyes are watering and you want to cry. That is my food. And this is so horrible and so selfish, but I would add hot sauce to all my food, and then that way I knew nobody would want to eat it or take it. And I didn't even like hot food when I was little, but I've grown so accustomed to it that now I'm obsessed with it and I add hot sauce to literally everything. Number 7. I've never had a cavity. Number 8. I'm allergic to fur. I used to have guinea pigs when I was little. I would pick them up and play with them, and then everywhere that they touched me, I would have like red bumpy marks and they'd get really itchy and I couldn't breathe and my eyes were watering, and I just figured that was the way you were supposed to react after touching animals. I am a speed reader. I haven't done any sort of test to see like a speed reader, someone who's like, done. Not like that. It kind of sucks too at the same time, because you know when you have a really good book and you want to savor it and read it, so I'll be like, now what? That's why I like when series are really, really long, because there's something else to look forward to. In relation to said speed reading, I suck at pronouncing words. So I'll read a word in a book, I'll know what it means, I've heard it used in sentences in books, but I don't actually know how that word is out loud. And unless I've heard a word pronounced, I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'll say really simple words I've never actually heard read aloud, so I don't know how to say them. So I'll be talking to my friend and say a really simple word really stupidly. I am not double jointed in any way. I can't do anything really cool, sort of. I'm sort of lying when I say this. I made my thumb double jointed, and this is how I know I made it. I can't do this with my right hand. I can only do it with my left hand, and when I was bored in like kindergarten, I would sit there taking my thumb and I would just start bending it back just out of boredom, and I would just bend my thumb back, and after years of that, I guess my thumb got the flexibility. Ready? Close your eyes if you're sort of squeamish for weird stuff. Is now I can touch my thumb to my wrist, and some people are like, well, that means you're double jointed. No, because I can't do that with my right hand. I can only get it down that far. With left hand, no problem. Weird. I suck with eye contact. Even with a camera. This isn't a person. I'm just looking at a little black dot, but already I feel like I'm staring you down. And I'll be like, oh yeah, this and this happened. And I'll be looking this direction. And a lot of times, be like, what are you looking at? And I'll be like, oh, sorry. Because I feel like if I look at you for more than 2 seconds, I'm staring you down. Number 13. I have a horrible memory. Like, bad. When people say they have a bad memory, I don't think they understand. I make Dory from Finding Nemo look like she's got perfect memory. Perfect. My best friend and I were best friends in grade 9, and then we just sort of like, we didn't have any classes together in grade 10, and then like we had photography and everything in grade 11, and we've been besties ever since. I was under the impression we didn't meet until grade 11. I will find diary entries from grade 9 being like, oh, Danielle came over today, and I'm like, this is part of the reason why I have a YouTube channel. It's mostly just for me so that I can look back and I want to be able to remember. I cannot put enough stress and emphasis on this. I have the most obnoxious laugh in the world. I'm basically a half hour early for almost everything I go to. If someone says be there for 7, I'll be there for 6:30. I think part of it is because I spend a really long time getting ready, which you'd think would always make me late. But because I'm so paranoid that I'll make other people wait by me being slow and getting ready, I'll give myself like 4 hours to get ready when I don't need all that time. If any guys or girls out there who do this, please let me know. But I like to read recipes. Like, I'll get a recipe book and be like, oh yeah, I know how that tastes. Like, I feel like some people can do that with music, because they'll read it. I think Beethoven could do that. But he could read through and, like, know how to make it sound in his head. I do that with recipes, so they'll be like, oh, that would taste good. Oh, they should add that. Oh, I would still make that, substitute that. I don't know, I read recipes like I'm eating them. I really like trying weird foods. I like going to, like, the Asian supermarket, picking up things that don't have any English on them, and then trying them. I actually have a package on the way from Japan with a bunch of random goodies and munchies on it that look delicious, and I have absolutely no idea what they are, how they're made. But when they get here, I'm going to try them and eat them, and I will be so excited. And here's an interesting one. I think I may point this out. I'm 20 years old. I can't swim. I basically flail. Every part of me that's under the water is flailing to stay afloat. I can swim just enough that, like, if I'm at a pool with a bunch of friends, I can swim and play like Marco Polo. If you were to toss me in the middle of the ocean, I would just probably inhale all the water I could, because I knew I would die in the next 30 seconds anyway. If possible, I would like 10 kids. And when I say if possible, I don't mean physically. I mean, like, if I were to marry someone and we had enough money to support 10 children, great. Because I would love to have 10. Don't think it's going to happen, but I want 10 kids. Just like I want a horse or a pygmy goat. Now here's one. I'm going to completely relax my face. I'm not going to make an expression, and tell me if you notice anything. I have what is known as resting bitch face. For the most part, I'm pretty smiley, upbeat, happy. This isn't something I noticed. Again, I don't notice anything about myself until it was pointed out to me. This happened in dance. I danced for 14 years of my life. Oh, there we go. We can make that a fun fact. And my dance teacher had brought my mom aside and said, I don't think Christina wants to be here. She looks like she's always angry. My science teacher in grade 10 thought I was suicidal because I always looked like I wanted to kill A, myself, or B, my classmates. Then after it was pointed out to me, I was like, oh, I guess I do look sort of angry all the time. But it's not something I really think about, and it's doesn't mean I'm always angry. People are always like, oh, are you angry? What's wrong? And they're constantly asking you, or like you accidentally make eye contact with someone without thinking about it in public, and they're like, ugh. And I'm like, no, I'm not angry, just, I guarantee that this is something everybody's noticed. Are you ready for it? I talk with my hands a lot. It is impossible for me to talk with my hands. I tried an experiment. This is what happens when I try to not talk with my hands. So I was walking a dog the other day. I stutter on my words and I get louder because I feel if I don't have my hands, you can't hear or understand what I'm saying. So for the most part, when I'm with a bunch of people, I just like talk with my wrists. But when I have the space, I like to move my arms and talk with my hands. Anywho, so that makes up about 20 things. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to have on this YouTube channel, seeing it as my first baby video. But thank you for sticking it to the end. If you did, that's amazing, wonderful. And hopefully I will see you on my next video.